Dear students, welcome to Specialized Translation and Terminology class. This is a very short tutorial on how to create an effective glossary by using Excel sheets like the one you see on your screen. Before getting into greater detail, there are some things you need to take into consideration when deciding to create a glossary. First, bear in mind the reason for creating this glossary. Its importance to you and to your work, especially with respect to future use and frequency of consultation. Second, start small but think big. When you embark on the creation of a glossary, make sure to take into consideration future needs in terms of expanding the number of entries and categories. As you can see on your screen, I have created 6 categories so far, but my table is much bigger so that it can accommodate more categories to be added in the future. You also need to be specific. Create as many glossaries as areas of interest, work or research. If you specialize on military, create a glossary on military terminology. And then create another one on other types of weapon, especially, let's say, tanks. Or if you specialize in law, then create a separate glossary that deals with legal terms. So the rule of thumb is that you need to create as many glossaries as areas of interest, work, or research. Do not mix terms that belong to different themes. However, think of cross-referencing glossaries in the cases where terms appear in more than one closely or loosely related areas or fields. 4. Always stay on top of your glossary. Make sure to constantly update it with new entries, new definitions, various renditions or translations in the target language, or don't hesitate to make necessary corrections when and if needed. It is possible, for example, that you might need to delete terms that are no longer of importance to you, but most frequently you will need to add new terms. Now, let us take an example from a glossary created for the purposes of our military session class. Here are the steps you need to follow. First of all, you have to create an Excel sheet like the one, an Excel file. You have to open a brand new Excel file like the one I have here. You have to name it and save it in a location in your computer where you will have all the glossaries compiled one after the other. Now, then you need to name the first sheet as index, as you see at the bottom when you follow my cursor. Then you will need to insert a table. I have created a table that has several colors because it's easier to the eye and it's easier to follow later. So you need to insert a table and create as many topics as you deem necessary. Create more cells than you need presently so as to accommodate future needs. As you can see by looking at my table, I have more cells than I have already used. I have named 6 cells because I need more cells to accommodate to create new categories of things that I have never thought of that may belong to the military aviation glossary in general. Then you need to number your cells in sequence and put a name beside each number. For instance, cell number 1 is military aviation general, whereas cell number 2 is entitled engines, and cell number 3 wings, or cell number 4 flaps. I have not named cell number 5 or 6, but I think I can think of other terms of other things that I might include in this category, such as fuel, for instance. So I could name number 5 fuel. And so on and so forth. The next step is to associate your cells with your Excel sheets. So sheet number 1, like the one you see here at the bottom, should refer to military aviation general, whereas sheet number 2 will have to refer to engines, sheet number 3 to wings, and so on and so forth. You can have as now, once you've done this, you need to go to, let's say, sheet number 1, where you have the military aviation general glossary. Now, here you need to create once more, you need to create a table. And once you decide on the number of columns this table will have, you have to copy paste this format to every single sheet, sheet number 2, sheet number 3, 4, etc., so as to ensure consistency. Do not hesitate to change the format, because as you go along with your research and as your needs grow, depending on the use you're going to make of this glossary, you may decide to add new columns. However, your glossary should have a set number of columns like the ones that are presented here to you. If column A will be a column dedicated to numbers, where you will have to number your entries after you have sorted your terms alphabetically. It's easier to do it this way, otherwise the numbering will be completely jumbled up. So you need here to first of all sort your entries in alphabetical order. So now you have then column number A will be dedicated to numbers. Column B will be the term in the source language, and whereas column C will be the term in your target language. If you have more than one target languages, you will have the equivalent number of columns. If you work into Greek, you will have to have a column in Greek. If you work into French as well, it's good to have a column into French. And if you work into Italian, you should add Italian or German or any other language that is considered to be one of your many working languages. Don't feel bad if you only have 2 working languages. So anyways, now after that, you will have to create a column that is dedicated to source. Now, here's the tricky thing. Usually when we say source, we mean the source from which we got the translated term. However, if you feel that you need to have a column for your source text, you should also consider adding here a new column that you will name it source as well. So that being done, you'll need to create another column where you will enter the context into which you have found the various terms. It is good to enter as many contexts as possible in every single language. And you will have to have a column that is called remarks, and in there you will put whatever you think it's necessary. For instance, a cross-referencing with the same term that may appear in a completely different area or field or specialization, or things or issues of non-translatability, problems with equivalencies, lack of resources, if any, and so on and so forth. In other words, you should have as many sheets as the cells you have indicated into your index. If you add more areas of research of terminology in here, then you will have to add to create new sheets. So now the last thing that you need, the very last step you need to take in order to complete your glossary is to hyperlink each cell of your table in index with the corresponding sheet. As you can see, I have already created two hyperlinks, one for military aviation general and engines. What is the purpose of creating a hyperlink? By clicking here, you will be directed automatically to the corresponding sheet. So this can be very effective, and you won't have to search for your sheets at the bottom of your screen, especially if you have more than 10, if you have over 10 sheets. This can be extremely practical. Now, how to create a hyperlink? In order to create a hyperlink, you need to click on the cell you're interested in hyperlinking. Then you go to Insert, Hyperlink, and choose the location within the specific file. Click under here, location within the same file, θέση μέσα στο έγγραφο. And then, of course, you need to go, you will see a drop-down menu on your right, and based on the principles we have discussed earlier, your choice here would be to hyperlink cell number 3 with Excel sheet number 3. You click on it and then you click on OK, and you have already created a hyperlink which connects your cell with the corresponding sheet, i.e. sheet number 3. I hope this tutorial was helpful to your work. You shouldn't consider doing this work only in order to get extra points on your final paper, but you should consider doing this work simply because it's very interesting, especially if you want to become a professional translator later on. I wish you good luck with trying to create your own interactive glossary. Thank you for watching and for listening. Should you have questions or concerns, please email me. Thank you very much and good luck with your exams.